Dogs are man's best friend. Robot dogs are potatoes' best friend. We spent a bunch of time on stream the other night talking about a variety of strategies for The Floor is Lava. We took a peek at some Alien Engineer games, and we're going to talk about it momentarily and see what we can learn for this unique map. And before we jump into it, of course, I have to let everybody know that I am part of the content affiliate program. That means the Phobies team gives me coffee for producing Phobies content. But enough of that. Let's talk about some strategies that can help you dominate as player one on The Floor is Lava. Now, of course, we can't just leave you hanging with only talking about what happens when you're player one. Let's take some time to talk about player two and ways that you could potentially counter this strategy. Did we hit everything? What have you been doing to try and win as player two on The Floor is Lava? Let me know down in the comments or hit up the Random's Thoughts Discord. Of course, that's where you'll find out news about Fright Night and Monster of the Week, our weekly tournament series. But you know, a little of the news there first. So check that out, thereabouts the like and subscribe button. Now, before we actually jump into the strategy, of course, I want to let everybody know that I'm part of the content affiliate program. That means that the Phobies team does give me coffee for producing Phobies content. Just got to let everybody know, but let's get to it. So 10 and 11 turn games, respectively. Let's take a look at this. DT was pointing this out as what we're dubbing the Alien Engineer rush on The Floor is Lava. Now, the foil to that is the Hakune defense, but pour one out for Hakune. Hakune has moved on from Phobies to other things in life. So, Alien Engineer here, we're going to try and take notes, mental notes, or feel free to pause and take notes. Maybe I'll pull this for YouTube later, and we shall see. Notably, Alien Engineer did not go 1-1. Or 1-1-1, which are very common openers on this map. This is 1-2, and specifically K9. Now, again, Alien Engineer is fairly high level. We're looking at an under-leveled opponent comparatively, but we're more looking at the overall strategy level. We want to see what Alien Engineer does in these setups. So we're getting Spud here. This Boomer could have been another Phobie, like a more aggressive one. This K9 means that it prevents something from connecting with it right away. Now, Orange is... this is kind of a suspect defense here. I don't really buy this, but they are up 4-2 panic points for now. So I get the retreat here makes sense because otherwise, if this Maggie remained either here or here, Spud and K9 can come in and squash it. So instead, we're going to get a reclaim here because the Spud plus Cowbell means dead Boomer. And of course, Dimensional Pull. And all of a sudden, it's 4-2 going the other way. So we're getting a little jar action. Beyond jar, okay, these are basically the only two Phobies, arguably Murder Wing if you gone that initially, that can reach this corner. So this is pretty tough. I'll point out, if player 2 doesn't cap the corner point, K9 goes there because it doesn't work to trap it like you would with a lower HP Phobie. Exactly. So I was sort of getting there, but not. I was doing it a very roundabout way. K9, thanks to how tanky it is, and again, this is a fairly high-level K9, admittedly, but K9 is, on the whole, tankier than most other 2 keys. Often, many cheap keys. And what I was pointing out is that the Maggie, just due to its positioning, and again, it could have been Murder Wing or other flyer, Tooth Fairy, whatever, but that would have screwed with orange players, player 2's opener anyway because of the additional key cost. It means that basically, like, you're looking at jar. You need a lob to get over these things. No one's going to open with Gravedigger to where jar is currently to break the block and then, like, allow Spud to... Like, that's insane. No one's doing that. So it becomes, hey, you can jar, but you're only going to get one hit because you do have to reposition in order to poke at the K9. And then you have to have the flyer already here. And then it's also going to be exposed, and most people are going to be hesitant to do that because then Alien Engineer just eats whatever the flyer is with the canine. So it's a free takedown. So thank you, DT, pointing that out, because that is important. Now, notably, look at this. Would you look at this? They're just dead at this point. I legitimately think they are just dead. This is, I know it shows orange here, but these are Alien Engineer units. 4,600 health. You know, this is 75%, maybe under that, 70, 65. Maybe I'm just saying numbers. 6 panic point to 0. 1,400 damage. Oop, I paused it too quick. So 3,100 health. You have 2 lobs, so you can't body block this. That's a crucial point because I've seen heart pushes on this map before get stymied. Why? Because you end up getting in here with arbitrary ranged units, and then your opponent just frantically throws things in front just to body block, and if something ever manages to live to the next turn, then they can rebuff your offensive. Here, even if you do that, they're just lobbing over it, and Spud is already in position. This is in addition to the fact that this canine, I mean, again, the Venus, probably not a spectacular response, but look how much effort that has to be put in just to take down the canine. Again, level advantage, but the canine is a tankier phobie, and on the whole is going to require a tougher, a more powerful response. So we actually get this positioning here, and again, this is also what DT was mentioning. We have a very tanky phobie in Hevo 1.0. The Spud is less tanky, but what can hit it from here? This has to come all the way around. It's not going to hit it next turn. This could get it. This could hit it twice, but I mean, this is, again, a level advantage, but the point is it's now tucked in the corner. There are very few phobies that would be able to get it, and the only reason that 2 phobies would even be able to hit it this upcoming turn for our orange player is because of their somewhat unique opener. The Gesundheit here actually is interesting. The reason being is this. The Gesundheit allows for a 5-to-1 panic point advantage because you can just snipe the 1 key. Look how many keys are left. There's still 9 keys available for Alien Engineer overall, obviously. This game hasn't been going on that long. This is turn 5. So we are getting, this is one of the ways for Orange to get through, obviously. 5 turns is all you get with this execution. 5 turns. Again, level advantage, but pretty interesting. Pretty interesting. Got to keep this one in mind for the next time you zone in as player 1 on the floor is lava. So in this particular game, it looks like Alien Engineer was feeling merciful and gave them an extra turn. We're once again looking at what DT has dubbed the Alien Engineer rush on the floor is lava. And we're getting the same opener. Take notes. Yeah, I'm going to pull these ones for YouTube, chat. They're going to go up there for posterity. So, orange player in this scenario went with a different turn 1. In the previous game, we saw 1-1-2. It was a 1 key, and a Maggie. In this case, we see Murder Wing 1 key, which is also a relatively common response. We'll have to see how this goes, but this seems very scripted by Alien Engineer. This is very well thought out, and the response from our orange player here is not ridiculous. This is not insane. This is completely reasonable for this map. You see it, or some derivative of this, fairly frequently. So the question becomes, how do you beat this? But first, we need to learn more about how it works. So you get the aggressive push with the cat across the top. In fact, it's going to be Spud to the bottom point here. And oh, by the way, Spud has a personal bodyguard. Apparently, dogs are man's best friend. Robot dogs are potato's best friend. Who knew? But this is a 5-0 panic point advantage. We're already putting a lot of pressure on. Now, orange player appropriately, astutely flips the panic point in the north. I mean, I guess they could have done it a number of different ways because they had the stabby available. But the point is that they flipped that. It's now 4-2, but that's still, anybody who's played on the floor is lava knows that this is a lot of pressure. This is a lot of pressure. Now, we pointed out in the last game, there's a fairly significant level differential here. This is not, if you try this out and you're closer in level, you might run into a little more trouble, but it does appear to have something to it. Creep is a change from the previous game, and it does allow for a pick here, but it's actually funny that we're going to see Misanthrope because this is yet another heavy, tanky phobie. These three, Cowbell is fairly tanky for a 1-key, right? It's a mech. These other two mechs also provide a lot of beef to stand in front. Plus, Spud here is just shelling away on the heart. Like, look at this. This is down to like 40%. This is orange player's 4th turn. And look at this. You're going to get double hits from here. You're going to get double hits from here. Misanthrope is probably going to be able to clear out this cassowary. Or we're going to do it a different way. Interesting choosing to body block here. Presumably, the math, I'm not going to pause it to check, but presumably the math was simply to ensure that the canine live. But here, the droney to the north, again, flips the panic point, additional pressure. This is actually, like, I love this. I love everything about this. This is exactly what we were discussing a few minutes ago, that I think there's tons of room in Phobies to have. Well, this is the general strategy when you're player 1. This is how you want to go. And then it's up to whoever's on player 2 to say, okay, player 1's always go with this game plan that Alien Engineer is executing. How do I counter that? And then once they start winning as player 2 and crushing this, then player 1 has to go, okay, what wrinkle can I throw in to disrupt their defense? And you get this metagame evolving of people one-upping each other strategically. But take notes. This looks pretty good. Looks pretty good.